Imagine being the world's deadliest assassin, and your biggest challenge isn't killing people, it's talking to women. That's how Marriagetoxin begins. In this world, entire bloodlines specialize in different ways of killing people. Poison, sound, beasts, whatever the family trait is, that's the business, generation after generation. Hikaru is heir to the poison clan, which means his childhood wasn't really a childhood. It was training. He was raised to inject himself with toxins, read a room for threats, end a fight before it starts. He was built to be a weapon. Nobody ever taught him how to be a person. So when the family needs an heir and Geto can't even hold a conversation, let alone get a date, they don't wait around. They turn to his sister instead, who already has a girlfriend she's genuinely happy with. And that's what actually gets Geto moving. Not loneliness, not some romantic itch. He's trying to protect someone he loves from a future she never agreed to, using the one skill set he has, which happens to be completely useless for this particular problem. Right about now, you're probably picturing a harem. Awkward guy, rotating cast of women, everyone competing until the finale picks a winner. Marriagetoxin knows you're picturing that. It just isn't particularly interested in playing along, partly because the women in question aren't waiting around in a lineup. They're connected to the underworld Gero came from, and most of them are just as dangerous as he is. That becomes obvious almost immediately, because in the middle of an actual job, interrogating a con artist named Mei Kinosaki, someone who makes a living getting people to fall in love and disappearing with their money, Geto proposes marriage to his target, mid-interrogation. Mei says no, obviously, but Geto doesn't give up. Instead, he makes a different offer. Teach me how to date. Weirdly, it actually makes perfect sense. If your whole profession is making people fall for you, you understand attraction better than almost anyone alive, certainly better than an assassin who spent his life studying pressure points instead of people. And here's another thing I really liked. Mei presents as a woman and is in fact a man. The show doesn't treat it as a twist or a punchline, it's just who Mei is. What matters more is what it does to the dynamic. Someone trained to neutralize threats is now taking dating advice from the one person he can't read at all. From there, every woman Geto meets comes with her own ties to the criminal world he grew up in, her own reasons for being dangerous, her own reasons for not needing to be rescued. That's really the only space where a poison assassin isn't an automatic deal breaker, and it means every date doubles as two people sizing each other up the way they were trained to before either of them figures out how to just talk. Mei stays close through all of it, coaching, manipulating entire dates in real time, clearly enjoying himself a little too much. And Geto is still bad at this. He fumbles constantly because nothing about reading a target prepares you for reading a person who actually wants to be understood. But every so often, something completely sincere slips out anyway. Early on, instead of forcing a romantic moment with someone he's barely met, he just asks if they can start as friends. It's such a small line, but coming from someone raised to see people as missions and targets, choosing to slow down and actually get to know somebody first is the most human thing he could possibly do. That tension never really goes away, and it's why the action matters here, instead of just sitting next to the romance. Bones handles the animation, so the fights land with real weight, but they're not a separate gear the show shifts into. They're the same instincts Geto is constantly trying to unlearn the moment a date starts. One scene, he's reading an opponent's next move. The next, he's failing to read whether someone's actually smiling at him or just being polite. And somehow the second one is harder for him. And that's why Marriagetoxin ended up being so much more than I expected. Not because of the poison, not because of the fights, but because underneath it all, it's just about someone learning how to be human. And somehow, that's what stuck with me the most.